Welcome. Thanks for joining us on the RP Experience. I'm your host, Andrew Regenhard, and today we have AD Diaz, one of our top producing agents here within Real Producers. Welcome.
Hey, man, excited to have opportunity to be on the show. Appreciate it.
You're going to do awesome. So we're pumped to have you on here. So give you guys a little understanding who AD is. AD is a realtor with Century 21. He has a strong passion to provide the best possible service to his clients and community, which drives him every day. The passion has granted him to be designated as a top agent, not just in Southwest Florida, but he's been recognized as a top agent in the entire state of Florida. He's been honored to be ranked in the top 10% in agents of agents in the nation. AD supports local charities, including opening his home to several dog rescues and fostering programs, as well as community advocating for responsible growth and public service. So sounds awesome. We're definitely going to dive into some of that stuff, but
and I didn't even pay him to say that. That's amazing.
Yeah, under the table,
right?
Well, AD, tell us a little bit about who you are, right?
Okay.
Rather than
Sure.
what you've accomplished.
Not a problem. So I'm Adolfo Diaz, shortened up by my
that's why we say AD, because I'd probably butcher that.
Yeah, everybody does, man. Came from my best friend when I was 8 years old, and he shortened it up, and I've been AD since. I'm a son of immigrants, Cuban immigrants. My parents came to this country after the revolution in Cuba. Born and raised in Miami, came to Southwest Florida in 1988. So basically, I'm just first generation American, trying to work my butt off to make it to the top as much as I possibly can, and
for sure
help everybody on the way there, man.
And you are.
Thank you.
Cruising
man.
to the top.
Trying to.
Love it. So you came here 18 years ago, right?
Well, no, in Southwest Florida, I've been here since I was born in Florida, so I've been in Southwest Florida for 35 years now. Going on 35.
Okay. But you said, I think when we first met, you said 18 years. Is it when you moved to Cape then? Or
no, we first started, so we would vacation in Naples and
that's right.
and stay in a resort here locally. And then my parents ended up buying a property here and, flipping the property later on, not flipping it because they didn't know anything about real estate, but they sold the piece of property that they bought. And then my father found Cape Coral in 1988, October-ish. And then we closed in a house over there and
nice.
Been there since, man. 18,000 people when we first moved to Cape Coral. So
that's crazy. Maybe that's where I'm getting my
20,000, right?
Jeez, a lot different, right?
A lot of growth, man.
18,000 to 220,000. So what do you think the biggest push for Cape Coral's growth was?
Affordability. I think it definitely started off as affordability. I mean, it started off as a bedroom community. It used to have this, old adage where it was newlywed or newly dead. A lot of older people. And a lot of younger people starting families. And that was really an attraction because there was so much land and still is so much land available. So Cape Coral really is about 45 to 50% built up right now, which has a ton more room for growth, obviously.
45 to 50%.
Yeah, the second largest landmass in Florida, 137.2 square miles.
It seems so busy already.
It is, man.
And for it to only be half full.
Yeah. Scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, but it's all all opportunity. So with the growth, obviously, there's a little bit of scary, rocky roads. But as the infrastructure grows, the community grows, municipalities start to figure out things that other municipalities are doing to really become more of a city that is easy to travel through. Mm-hmm. We have a simple, quote unquote, grid system in our area, but obviously with traffic patterns growing, it's unsustainable for now. But it's getting better.
Yeah,
they're definitely doing a lot of things to make it better.
And one of the perks, right, obviously people enjoy Cape Coral for is the affordability, but also the canals, right? Talk about how many canals. I think people don't realize how much waterfront is in Cape Coral.
Yeah, it's almost 500 miles of navigable canals. Either it goes from Gulf access to fresh water.
500 miles.
Yeah, almost 500 miles. Yeah, it's crazy. And
that's a lot.
Yeah.
If people look at because it's probably
more than Venice, Italy.
Jeez.
Yeah, put that in perspective, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
We don't have the food that Venice has, but we've got canals.
No, we don't. I wish. That'd be awesome. So now, do you do a lot? Like, do you see most individuals coming from, let's say, the Midwest or different places that want to be on waterfront, or not as much? Like, how does that play in? Is that one of the factors for Cape Coral versus Fort Myers? I mean,
sure.
I know you do a lot in Lee County in general. So why would someone mostly pick Fort Myers versus Cape Coral, different things like that?
It really is, just dependent on a lot of it, where they work, what school system or what school they want their children to go into, things like that. But really the affordability has always been kind of the Cape's, shining factor, and it still kind of remains to be. They're still affordable. It was tagged a waterfront wonderland. And there's a lot of people that come here just for the boating experience, for, to be on a canal, to be able to get out to a boat, got into the river in 20 minutes or less. That was really the appeal. Mm-hmm. So, it really depends on the lifestyle, I would say. Yes, are we a funnel for the Midwest? Absolutely. We always have been. But what we're seeing now is a lot more people coming from the East Coast, selling their houses over there, buying a house here in cash typically, because their equity's grown so much over the years and generations that they've had their homes over there. Mm-hmm. They're able to buy a house here and still have a nice cushion in the bank, dry powder, so they could either invest or continue living their lifestyle.
Yeah,
and it kind of affords that. My wife and I, we love Cape Coral because it's our home, but we've always said it's the place where it allows you to have the ability to go, to have great vacations and to be able to be affordable. So that way you can go do these cool things.
Right. Yeah. You're not what they call house poor.
No, definitely not, man.
Where you spend all your money on the house and then you can't do anything.
I've been blessed to not have a mortgage on anything besides rentals that I own.
Yeah. So, which is good. Let someone else pay for that stuff.
That's it, man, right?
Use someone else's money to make money. So, well, good. So let's step back for a second. I know we got talking about Cape Coral and the beauties of it. What originally got you into the real estate industry?
So my friend started off a mortgage business. I was going to school at the time. I was doing a roll, graduated high school, was figuring out where I wanted to go. My original thought I was going to be a microbiologist, and really wanted to be more of a hematologist, blood spatter analyst. That was kind of like where my head was at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was like cool Dexter before Dexter even came out, right?
Okay.
So that's what I really wanted to do, and just so happens when I was going to go up to UCF to sign up and actually look at my lease and sign my lease, I got basically T-boned on 47th Terrace, which is a main thoroughfare in Cape Coral, by some lady. Didn't see me coming, ran it, T-boned me. And that really put things in perspective. I'm like, all right, well, everything happens for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. So what's the reason for this? Let's make a good, what's the silver lining in this? Silver lining was I had an opportunity that a friend came to me and said, hey, I'm going to be running a mortgage, I'm going to be opening up my own mortgage company. And I want you to come with me. I'll teach you how to do things. And that really got the ball rolling. So within 18 months or less, I was running I was his assistant vice president. So,
did you like mortgage at that time?
Loved it. It was, it allowed me to really see and use the mechanism of, leverage.
Well, the reason I asked that is mortgage is numbers, a lot more computer based.
Sure.
Real estate's a lot more people, right? And so which one did you? Obviously you're killing it in real estate, so I would assume that one. But that's a huge switch. Yeah. How did you adjust to that?
Well, the adjustment, unfortunately, was kind of forced on me. As the market shifted. So that was, I graduated high school in 1999. So by 2001, I was in mortgage banking as a mortgage broker. We had a warehouse line set up. So we were doing a lot of things. At the time, we were doing a lot of new construction perm loans, investment products. So we would actually fly out to Vegas and do these big speaking engagements and then sell investment products here in Southwest Florida. Loved it, man. It was awesome. 2007, I got married in October, and I would say by November, December, it was almost like a light switch. Light switch went off, banks stopped modifying loans, equity positions started going down. So there was really an opportunity to be seeing, okay, where are we going with this now? What's the next step? And me kind of being the person that I am, kind of the person I've been raised to do is help as many people as I can. I started getting into the loss mitigation side of things, of deed in lieu of foreclosures, helping people modify their mortgages without losing their homes. And that was the next progressive step in my real estate career.
So obviously that was apparent, and it was popular, I guess, even though people didn't want to do it in that current industry. But what were the challenges that were associated with that?
Well, there was a lot of challenges, right? So there was, especially in our area, there wasn't a lot of people that you couldn't talk to that weren't affected one way or another by the debacle of the mortgages and the bank, kind of pulling back, the ability of offering different programs. And to be honest, there was a lot of people that were over leveraged because they were, speculating. People would make money selling spec houses, remodel, flip houses, but a lot of people were leveraging themselves to the point where it wasn't sustainable if something were to give. So that one thing that just snapped and kind of just folded was a thing that put a lot of people in a position where they didn't know how to do anything besides either give the house back, bankruptcy, foreclosure, deed in lieu of foreclosure. So in that aspect, we were trying to help navigate that so people wouldn't have to ruin their credit forever, which that was kind of the thought, right? Because it was a lot of things where it was unknown. What happens if I lose 3-4 houses that I invested in? Yeah. Well, so we were helping people, to be able to modify those mortgages or be able to give them back without having a foreclosure on their record. And, the obstacles were many because you had to be able to prove a hardship, which that was easy, right? Just read a newspaper. Everybody's losing houses. At one point, one of every 4 homes was under some sort of, list pendants or litigation because of, the mortgage industry or, leveraging the mortgage industry. Let's just say that.
Right.
I don't think there was one person to blame, but, just like everything else, as times change, things have to switch and adjust, and just people didn't know how to do it.
Right.
So we try to be those, the liaison to help those people to be able to get to the next chapter.
Makes sense.
Try, man.
So what year did you officially go, all right, I'm done mortgage, I'm in real estate?
The switch for me was 2008. 2008, I kind of took a little bit of a hiatus of just the mortgage side and just got more into the loss mitigation side and kind of, really to help, with these people to facilitate some of their options. I was already in real estate. I mean, I dealt with realtors all the time, right?
Right. But you officially switched it over. And at first, did you feel that it was a sense of like relief to be in it? Were you happy about it, or were you actually like more like, oh gosh, what did I do kind of thing?
No, man. It was the same animal and like a different hide, I guess you could say, right? Like I felt like I kind of was back in my form. I was back into something that I really, I loved. I mean, real estate in one fashion or another has been able to give me what I have in my life, right? And be able to help other people attain what they want in their lives. So I use it as a tool. It's always been a tool. And it was just something I just felt super familiar with. And the next logical step would be, hey, we're already doing our own thing, so let's sell.
Makes sense. So what do you attribute or what do you appreciate most about real estate?
It's hard, man. It's a hard question to answer just because the thing I appreciate the most is that you can help somebody establish themselves from nothing to something, or at least having the first stepping stone to get them to the American dream, let's say, of home ownership, and do it responsibly. Educate them. That's a big thing I like to do. I'm not just one of these realtors that just wants to sell you a bunch of houses and, the highest house wins. I'll sell you a vacant lot for 10 grand, or I'll sell you a $10 million house. To me, I'm going to treat that person the same, because that person's always going to remember that I helped educate them. I'm there through the process, and they're just not a sale. Now they're part of my network. They're part of my group.
Right.
And a lot of them turn into friends, man. I have, had this little cheesy line I said for a very long time. I'm not in it for the I'm not in it for the commissions. I'm in it for the connections.
Right.
So if we want to say that again, I'm not in it for the commissions. I'm in it for the connections. And that's really something I live by.
That's awesome. That's a good one. Well, all right, let's talk a little bit about your philanthropic work and kind of the charities and stuff. So tell us, what was the kind of the first charity and why did you have such a giving heart? I know you had mentioned off air a little bit about your upbringing and how you were raised from your family. And so I think that attributes a little bit to it. But tell the listeners a little bit what first instilled that giving heart.
Well, I always think of it as what's molded me. I've always had a dog. Since I was a little kid, I always had a dog, and I've always will have a dog. Doesn't matter, how old I am, I will have a dog in my life one way or another. And I grew up with a golden retriever. Her name was Katie. She was the best dog. She passed away when I was 16. I had her when I was almost 1. I think my dad did a job for a doctor laying some tile, just had a litter, brought a puppy home, and she was my best friend till the day she passed. So being part of that was always a must.
Right.
So I had a big thing with bull terriers, Spun McKenzie, the Target dog. That was my own dog. Like the first dog, I was out of the house. It was my dog.
Right.
And she just passed away 2 years ago.
Oh, man. Sorry. Yeah.
And she was 17 and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's old for a dog.
Yeah. Well, especially a bull terrier.
I was going to say, I don't know the average lifespan.
Like 12 years. Yeah.
Wow.
She was crazy. She was the best, though.
That's awesome.
So from there, we started helping out with other bull terrier rescue of Sunshine State, which now they've become bull terrier rescue of Central Florida, I believe it is now.
Okay.
So it's the same people. One person kind of just got out of the business in Fort Lauderdale area, and the other person's in like the Orlando area.
Makes sense.
So we do a lot of like, fostering. We'll do traveling. So we'll pick up like kind of halfway point from Miami to here, and then bring them up to Tampa or St. Pete, and do that. We'll do home checks for them. So that's one of the big things. I have schnauzers. I have 3 miniature schnauzers. So
okay,
we were involved.
How many dogs do you have total right now?
Just 3 right now.
Just 3. Okay.
Usually it was 4. 4 was always like, if you go over 4, you're crazy.
I think 4 is kind of good.
It's super crazy.
We have one.
Yeah,
an English bulldog, and that thing. That's a lot of work already. So
I know. I say it to justify myself for not feeling like I'm crazy, but 4 dogs is nuts, man. It's a lot of work for sure.
Busy.
Yeah.
Not like I'm saying like life, but like that's just a lot moving around and going on.
I get it, especially going to the vet, going to the groomer. I mean, it's a lot, man. Yeah, I don't have kids, and that's another thing. So I don't have children. My sister had kids early. My nephew was born when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
So like the last part of my teens was helping my sister basically adult, like parent and be an adult to the kid. So I never wanted to have children per se. I mean, I love kids. I just never wanted my own. And my wife didn't want children either. So it was almost one of those perfect little matches made in heaven, right? So, but that affords just, because we don't have children, I know how expensive they can be, we're able to give back. So we give back to Children's Hospital of Golisano. I also do a lot with the Miami Dolphins Children's Foundation. We do a lot, with some local charities as well. This Saturday, we have an event coming up for the fallen officers, where they give like the stuffed teddy bears to the children.
Nice.
And they raise money for them, and it's a really great cause. So my buddy, is one of he's a big contributor to them, and we're going to their gala this Saturday. So
nice. Love that.
Yeah, man. It's just nice to give back, man. For sure.
It is. It's good to help people, right? And
help people help themselves too, man. That's another thing is that especially in like my culture, a lot of people are coming from Cuba to basically seek political asylum here now because communism has just gotten crazy over there. So they just want out. So they have the opportunity to come here, and we're here helping out each other as well. I mean, so it's just humans helping humans and humans helping dogs.
Exactly.
And all animals.
All right, outside of work, you got to have some fun, right? What do you do to disconnect?
I like to travel.
Okay.
So once a year, I try to make it out to Napa, Sonoma Valley. Just kind of like unplug. Just get to the fresh air. Go to that side of the states.
Yep. Something different. Yeah, for sure.
I like wine. I like smoking cigars.
Okay.
Although my wife is going to hate hearing that. So I actually gave up smoking for like a month and a half. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's cool. I can do this. No problem. I just want to be able to enjoy a cigar every once in a while. And yeah, I just really like smoking cigars. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And, it's my only, I would say, bad habit.
Right.
It's one that I enjoy.
I mean, it's a cigar. It's not like a cigarette. It's like there's worse things, right?
I can justify it, right?
We always can. Doesn't matter what we do. We always
Absolutely.
justify it. That's cool. Awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't have a lot of hobbies, but, be with my wife, travel, and have fun, man.
Yeah. And then you said no kids. Do you guys plan on ever having kids, or are you just going to stay with the 4 crazy dogs?
Yeah, I think we're going to stay with the dogs, man. I think dogs are enough in our lives right now. I don't think kids were in the cards for us, and I'm totally cool with that because there's plenty of other people that we can help out for sure.
Exactly. And the dogs, to be honest, probably are more work in a lot of ways, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I guess kids are a lot when they're younger and stuff, and they do cause problems, but dogs, they don't talk, and they're like, I mean, they listen. It just depends.
And we do a lot of the cases like that. Like, right now we have one that, he was an 11-year-old throwaway. Somebody threw him away in a garbage can, little schnauzer.
Oh my God.
So this rescue today, he's 11 years old. He's a senior. We don't know how much longer he's going to be. It's more like a hospice care.
Right.
He's been with us for 4 years in March. So he's 15, 16, we think, right now.
Oh my gosh.
He has, medicines for seizures because he had a seizure when he went under anesthesia to get his teeth cleaned. So now he's on, seizure medications every day, right? So, those are things that are like, people are like, we're nuts. I'm like, yeah, but who else would do it if we wouldn't, right? So that's what we do, man.
Hey, good for you, man.
Thanks, bud.
Oh man, that's tough though to see older dogs suffer. I mean, it's tough to see older people suffer, right, and everything like that. Anything with age is
never
tough.
fun.
Yeah,
never fun, man.
So personally, what motivates you on a daily basis besides like helping your clients? Right? Like, I know that obviously is something that you've instilled into your business, but like each day to get up, right, and be motivated. What do you do to help that helps?
I look at everything as an opportunity to win. You know, I don't like to lose, man. Not that I'm aggressive or anything like that, but I just don't like to lose. And I like to build opportunities. So on my way up here, I was actually on the phone with a big investment group that I've been doing business with for going on 4 years now. Great guys. And he's like, hey, man, what's going on? You know, what's new on the horizon for you? What are some opportunities? You know, and I kind of sat back and said, well, let me see what I have available to him now. And there's a lot of, opportunities right now. So I think to me, unfortunately, because of the storm, it's created a lot of opportunity in our Southwest Florida family here, right? Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we lost, people, we lost businesses, we lost homes. We were all affected by it one way or another. But in that same aspect, it's also created opportunity. So what makes me drive every morning is how can I build that opportunity and be able to, bring other people into that fold? Mm-hmm. And that to me, I like that because I'm building something, right? Like my dad was in construction his whole life, so he taught me like, hey, building blocks, right?
Yeah.
So what are the building blocks that I could use today to build something to be able to, have an opportunity for someone?
I love that.
And also, make some money along the way, right? Like it's all growth.
Right. And hey, everything in this world takes money. So you got to make it some way or another. All right, last question because we're getting close on time. But, you obviously said you're like a first generation American and, obviously your parents worked very hard and instilled good values in you. But obviously you had to work at it, right? Sure. When was that aha moment of like, I made it?
It's probably when I was able to pay my parents' house off.
There you go.
Yeah, that was my first gift to them. It kind of almost gets me teary-eyed because it was a big deal, man.
Yeah.
My parents had like 18% mortgage rate when
when
I paid their mortgage off. Never refinanced it. They bought it for $36,000 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I stroked the last check, said, here, it's on me.
It's done, yeah.
That's it, man. It was just a good feeling, man. It's like, and I think that was that moment where we're like, okay.
Yep.
We're going to be good.
Yep. I love it.
One way or another, man, we're going to be fine. I've been, thank God, I've been blessed with the ability of waking up in the morning and just hustling and staying humble.
There you go. Amen. Let's leave it on that note.
That's it, man.
Eddie, it's an absolute pleasure having you on
Thank
here.
You, man. I appreciate
you so
you having
much.
Me.
Yeah. As always, RP Experience, extremely thrilled to have you on here. We're here at VentureX in the podcast studio room. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned to the next episode. Thank you.
Like it.